Out of four signs so Shabium, Sisi Ankasa will share the race between Dr. Baumia and Kennedy Japan for the MPP primaries now. You can tell say it is what it is because Bebrena kase Baumia ne wini. Bebrena so kase Kennedy ne wini. Now Musa Danquah about bonting with some result be. Now of four pulling result we can be now the way I message we bubo bano. For me personally, me was special opinion be concerning it, but answer much remadino. Me per se beti in say Musa Danquah dia babetuja because of late we share inside the party NPP na ye who say sketch and browse be koso, skirmishes be koso. This year no man for more supported by Omiano, be bring na fi camp especially in Apo air Kennedy side. Na nkomo bi circulate out of for easy. Musa Danquah report we a baby in Sambie do so. Na me per se beti in common what the side. Ye ba but me who's worrying your comments.
New release MPP delegate poll, which was released this morning, today, 24th of October 2025. What were the findings? Let's look at the methodology and approach. We sampled 2,643 MPP delegates in 16 regions, randomly across 270 constituencies, randomly. The confidence level is 99%, margin of error 2.44%. The mode of survey was telephone, what we call CATI. And then we interviewed the people between 20th and 23rd October 2025. The demography is as follows: 24% were female and 76% were male. Age groups profile 18 to 24 is 1%, 25 to 34 is 15%, 35 to 44 is 44%, and 45 to 54 is 30%. And then people between 55 to 64, 7%, and 65 plus, around 3%. Educational level, junior high 39%, senior high 31%, tertiary education 21%, and no formal qualifications 9%. Among the delegates, 77% were Christians, 17 were Muslim, 3 were no religion, 2% were traditional religion, and others 1%. If you look at the ethnicity, largely Akans 59%, Mori-Dagbani 15%, Awes 8%, 7% Mori-Dagbani, Gwans 5%, and others 3%, with the rest spreading across. How does the rest look like today? Now, we asked the respondents to tell us how they voted in the last primaries. And according to the response they give to us, 60% said they went for Baumia, 18% said Kennedy, 1% Akoto, Dr. Akoto, and 1% Adainimo, but 19% did not disclose how they voted last time. So if you add 19% to 18% that Kennedy got, you realize that the not disclosed people are Ken voters in the last election. Ken got around 37. If you add 18 plus 19, that's 37%. Fairly accurate. And then Baumia got 61%. Here we're getting around 60%. And then Dr. Akoto and Adainimo, they both got less than 2%. So that 1% probably, when adjusted, will go to Baumia. So clearly, the delegates were telling us the truth. But how are they, or do they intend to vote now if given the chance to vote? 44% said they would vote for Baumia, 19% said they would vote for Kennedy, 15% said they would vote for Dr. Brian Champon, 1% would vote for Dr. Osei Duchum, and 1% would vote for Engineer Kwabna Eje Ejapon. But 15% still did not disclose who they want to vote for. 15%. And 15% again say they are undecided. So technically speaking, if you are trying to see who these not disclosed guys are, I would probably add them to Kennedy. And then the rest, the 15% undecided, they are the ones who are going to decide who wins MPP primaries. So frankly speaking, they not disclose mostly are Kennedy supporters. So the battle lies in who is able to win those genuinely undecided. Now, if you look at the 2 periods between September and October, Baumia moved from 47% to 44% as he dropped by 3%. Canada Japan moved from 17 to 19, up 2%. Brian Champon from 3% to 5%, up 2%. But Edichum and Canada Japan did not change. But then we saw a huge jump in those who did not disclose their voting intention from 4% to 15% now. That's up 11%. And those who are undecided declined from 27% to 15%. That's a drop of nearly 12%. Now, if you say runoff, who would you vote for? Baumia goes to 46%. Ken then goes to 23%. Still not disclosed 15%. And then 16% are undecided. So in that scenario, you could still be comfortable to add the 15% to Kennedy. And then we see how those who are undecided will break. And I think the race sits with those who are undecided at this stage. Now, if you look at who is MPP in the runoff, Baumia was 49% and now 46%, so down 3%. Ken was 20%, now 23%, up 3%. But those who did not disclose moved from 5% to 15%, up 10%. And those who said they are undecided, they were 26% before, now 16%. So you can see that there is a downward trend of about 10%. That's the race so far. Now, interestingly, in the sense of runoff, how are the candidates retaining their vote? If it's a runoff, we realize that Baumia will retain 96% of his vote, but 3% will go to Kennedy. 1% have moved to undisclosed now, if you look at the data. But when it comes to Kennedy supporters, 7% will vote for Baumia in the runoff, surprisingly, and 92% will still vote for him. So in terms of retention, he has lost about 7% of his vote, whereas Baumia has lost 4%. Now, when it comes to people who are voting for Dr. Brana Champo, 31% said they will vote for Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, and 44% will vote for Kennedy. 21% are undisclosed, and 4% are undecided. For those who are voting for Educhum, 39% Baumia, 39% Kennedy. So they are split when it comes to the voters of Educhum. 9% said they are not disclosing, and 3% are undecided. When it comes to Kobnaji and Japan, 42% of people, so most of these people will vote for Baumia, compared with 35% for Kennedy Japan. 16% are undecided. But for those who did not disclose who they would vote for in the first round, 1% changed their mind, said they would vote for Kennedy. 3% said they were not disclosing, and 96% said not disclosing, or they are undecided. For those who were undecided in the round one, 2% will go to Baumia, 1% will go to Kennedy, 95% are still not disclosed, and 2% said they are undecided. So this is the kind of thing we are seeing in the race. In terms of voter retention, those who in 2023 voted for Baumia, 72% are voting for him again, but 12% have shifted their vote to Kennedy. 3% are saying they are not disclosing, and 13% said they are undecided. But those who voted for Kennedy in the last election, 15% have switched to Baumia, but 70% have stuck to Kennedy. 4% said they are not disclosing, and 11% are undecided. So you can see that on like for like, Baumia is retaining more of his 2023 voters than Kennedy is. And again, more people have switched from Kennedy to Baumia than from Baumia to Kennedy, according to this poll. Now, you can see the regional block, but so far, Baumia is leading in Ahafo, it's leading in Ashanti region, it's leading in Bono region, leading in Bono East region, it's leading in Central region, leading in Eastern region, leading in Greater Accra, leading in Northeast region, leading in Northern region, leading in Oti, leading in Savannah, leading in Upper East, leading in Upper West, leading in Volta region, leading in Western region, and leading in Western North. He leads across everywhere. But in the case of Greater Accra, the race is much closer. Baumia is 36, Kennedy 14%. In Eastern region, Baumia 38, Ken 27. But in Central region, Baumia 50%, Kennedy 16%. Ashanti region, Parliament 39%, and Kennedy 28%. Then you have in the Western region, Baumia 52% and Ken 25%. So it's kind of Baumia is leading everywhere, but in some cases the race is a bit closer.
In that of war, senior moti it is according to Musa Danquah. Musa Danquah, the information they about 12 you know the Musa Danquah information no. Say 100% accurate cry. You be money the lowest cry because be 70 to 80% accurate the Bema Musa Danquah. The result of their bay, what ye figures or boba. We'll share the thin line between Kennedy and Baumia, and I say Baumia and Kennedy. A very thin. And from the way our supporters also behave, you know, me and the Mimi GD say at least so much to me winning election now. You be winning no uncle for the presidency. Do be no, and I say do be also second no uncle for the vice. What you saying? Because we share the way in common corner. If they don't do it that way, I don't think that the party MPP is going to be stable. It will be shaking out of one winning. Personally, me imagine with me who say. And kebeye pa after everything no you be winning unko for the presidency you be toss second unko for vice and I say there is somebody there no ba call for vice ada okay it can be possible but of what then I would doing for but our share result and Musa Danquah abubosu ya it really tells a lot utumu say figures necessary first ne Baumia or figures kakra I say along the line ne Kennedy so beating something which is there now of war. I mean, who's worrying your comments? Edini Ghana gossips. Yeah, the more updates now, Eba Wakwin.